In this video, we are going to have a look at turns and pirouettes that you can encounter in a ballet class, how to execute them, and hopefully loads of little tips and tricks so we can get our technique a little bit better. We are going to start with chaîné, which are probably one of the first turns you might introduce for children ballet class. They are trickier than they look. Generally, how I learned it when I was little was to have a piece of paper between your legs, so you make sure you don't just take big steps, but rather they're very small. If you can, if you have a studio or a living room with wood boards that have lines, this is excellent to make sure you're keeping the same even direction rather than moving back and front. You generally would do them in diagonal in a ballet class, but to learn them is probably better to do them in flat. What's very important, first and foremost, will be your spotting. So you want to make sure you pick a spot on the wall and you don't let it go. So if I pick my spot, I stay, and only when I can no more do I whip my head. To learn them with your hands on your hips or even with your hands on your shoulder really helps to get that half motion. Yes? Obviously, generally, they would be done with your hands in first, and once you've built up momentum, you can go faster. So that's our chaîné turn. Next one is going to be our pirouette en dehors. For this one, you have to learn your retiré position to the front. So your toes, your back foot is going to take the front of this knee here. Yes? So I think the best way to get the start would be to come like this and practice many relevés until you can really stay and down. If you can't stay in that relevé, you won't be able to turn. There is an excellent PBT exercise on a ball to work on those abdominal muscles that are necessary to come on that retiré position and hold our center. I don't have my gym ball today, but as soon as I can film a video about that exercise, I will pop it in the description as a link. So that's your turn en dehors. From here, on that position, you're going to bring that arm to the front and then turn outside. Yes, so that arm helps you turn, and notice how my sculpting still is there. So from there, up and down. Many finish possible, most of the time, fifth position at the back, but also deep fourth can be an option. If you want to do multiple, my personal trick would be to count down rather than counting up. Because if you think I'm going to do 1, 2, you're more likely not to hold your turn on the second one, rather counting down 2 and 1, so 2, 1, up and down, and triple, same thing for those, or quadruple if you want to go there. So that's our turn out pirouette en dehors. Now the next one would be the pirouette en dedans. This start, notice how your pirouette en dehors had a fourth position to start. This one is 1/4, so your leg is straight at the back and you're using the same arm as leg. Now 2 ways to do it, with a fouetté action or without a fouetté action. If I do the fouetté action, I come to the side and bring it in. So side, in, and closing front. If you don't do the fouetté action, you just go straight to your knee and down. Yes, same thing for multiple. I would really advise to count down from 3, 2, 1 rather than going 1, 2, 3. Now in all of your pirouette, you really want to make sure this frame is solid. If there's no center, if you don't bring your shoulder with you, you're going to be thrown off balance. So you really want to make sure, also very good to open this one a little bit here and there. So you really make sure this is strong. If you can imagine your fingernails are nearly touching, yeah? Some people like to cross a little bit, especially if you do loads of turn, or if you do them in a paddler and you have a partner, then you really have to bring them here, because otherwise you might slap them. But for practice in class, practice them there. Once you build it, then you can turn faster and do more pirouettes. So, to recap, we had our chaîné, we had our pirouette en dehors, and then we had our pirouette en dedans. Different associations, different teachers, different names, they're all correct. This, what the IDTA would call opposite turn en dedans, can also be called simply opposite turn or piqué turn. So you step and turn, step, turn, step, turn. This one goes at the back of your knee. So the pirouette en dehors and en dedans, right the front. Opposite turn at the back. You have this action to take you round, and then this to turn. You can take them as double, so that would go like this. 1, 2, and again. For this one, same thing. This has to be solid. It's a little bit less scary, I personally think, than doing a pirouette en dehors and en dedans. So if you find that you have a little bit of fear of turning, I would do that. You can also just do half. Yeah, just build it up. Same thing with your pirouette en dehors. If you're not sure, half or quarter, just to build up and maintain that suspension at the end. You don't want to collapse on it. You want to prove you've got control over it by maintaining the suspension as long as you can. Next, very often, if you have a long diagonal of turn, those opposite turn and chaîné, you might finish with what's generally called here lame duck or posé pirouette en dehors. So we've done our pirouette en dedans as a posé turn. Now, if you do them en dehors, that means you have to posé, turn, en dehors. Yeah, so you've got 2 steps. 1, 2, up. Yes, so pa 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 pa. The very last one we're going to look at is the fouetté turn. This is the iconic moment in the Lac des Cygnes. You are going from here, here, and turn. Front, side, and front, side, and. You want to make sure you're hitting that side. If you can't, do several relevés up and down on the same leg without falling over. You won't be able to do them. So the prep would be simply at the bar with the foot on the ankle, on the knee, wherever, to just work on that foot strength. Then do this in the center. Then you can do your fouetté turn. Yes, so you start with a pirouette, you open and close. All right. In everything you're doing for your turn, what's very important, not only that frame, but also your hips. Your hips have to be leveled. If you're turning with one hip up, it already throws your center. So just make sure your hips are exactly on the same plane, yeah? Like a little line parallel to the floor.